I've been making a full-time living creating cooking videos for about 4 years now, and I want to share 5 things that save me a ton of time and make filming recipes way more efficient. Tip number 1 is going to be to prep everything the day before. And when I say prep, I'm talking about these 3 things: your gear, your ingredients, and your kitchen. The day before a recipe shoot, I like to charge all my batteries, including my camera and external monitor batteries. I'll also clear and format my memory card so that I'm not running out of space mid-shoot. Then I'll set up as much of my gear as I can ahead of time, like my lights, tripod, and camera. So I'm super lucky because my wife is very supportive and she understands that this is literally how I pay the bills, so she's okay with me keeping my lights set up in the kitchen. I just keep everything clean and tucked away, and I'm using some Varipole so nothing is in the way or easy to trip over. I'll put a link to my kitchen Varipole setup video in the description. I also like to take this time to set up my camera support, and I recently started using this new tripod from Edelkrone called the Tripod X, and this thing is crazy. This video isn't sponsored, but they did give this to me, and I've been using it to make adjusting the height of my camera much easier. They actually make 2 versions of this tripod, the Tripod X Pro and the Tripod X Rapid. The Tripod X Rapid can raise your camera at about 118 inches per minute, while the Tripod X Pro moves at about 47 inches per minute. However, the Pro can support up to 44 pounds, while the Rapid has a lower capacity of about 17.6 pounds. And both tripods have the same exact body design and weigh the same. What I love is that it's self-adjusting, so I can just tap a button, and while it's raising up, I can move around my kitchen and knock out other tasks or set up other gear, which you'll be seeing a lot through the shoot day in this video. I also use an external monitor mounted to the tripod separately from the camera, and you'll see why later in this video as well. After the gear is ready, I just do a quick ingredients inventory, and then I'll also sometimes just lay everything out onto the counter or my prep table. I'll also take this time to clean my entire kitchen, and I'll clean any appliances that I plan on using, and I'll even set those out onto the countertop as well. The main reason that I like to do this is because honestly, I'm not always in the mood to film. Surprise. And when I wake up the next day, if everything's just already out, everything is set up, it's like less friction for me to think of an excuse on why I don't want to film today. Then on the day of the shoot, usually in the morning, I'll mise out all of my ingredients. And for this recipe, I have got a very specific spice blend to mix. So I'm just measuring all of those things out and then putting it into a bowl so I don't have to do this later. I'm also using a mix of dry chilies, so I just take some time to cut and de-seed those. And I pretty much just prep all of my other ingredients ahead of time. That way, once I start cooking, filming is just way more efficient because I'm not jumping back and forth between grabbing measuring cups and doing some extra prep off camera during the middle of the shoot. Plus, I've learned that prepping or chopping ingredients on camera is honestly just a waste of time, and I never end up putting it in the final edit. And I wouldn't recommend putting it in the final edit anyways. Everyone can figure out how to cut an onion, and the only time that I really show me prepping ingredients is if there is a unique or specific way to do it for that particular recipe. After everything is prepped, I'll just take a quick break, and then I will eat something, which is a very important step not to skip, and then I'll just clean my entire kitchen, and then I'll take a shower, and I'll get all pretty for the rest of the shoot. Tip number 2 is going to be to make a shot list. If you're just starting out, this might be the biggest upgrade you can make, because the number one problem I see beginners struggle with is that they don't know what they need to film. So they film everything, and that could be very overwhelming. For this shoot, I'm filming a sponsored Instagram video for Heston Cookware, but this YouTube video is not sponsored by Heston, but the Instagram deliverable that I had to post was, if that makes sense. And the best part about having a shot list, not just for brand deals or recipe content or content in general, is it lets me film out of order. For example, before I film any cooking, I'm gonna grab a shot that happens later in the recipe, which is me putting a pot into the oven to braise our beef. I could fake this shot now before the pot gets messy and I have a ton of things on my prep table that I have to move out of the way in front of my oven. Here's another pro tip. Stage your shot how you want it to end. So I'm going to be placing my pot into the oven, and then I'm gonna leave the door cracked. Now I can just take a minute to frame a nicely composed shot of it inside of my oven. This tripod makes micro height adjustments super easy, and I can simply fine tune the height of my camera by pressing a button on the tripod, compared to messing with 3 individual legs on a traditional tripod. It just took way longer and honestly a lot more difficult once you added things like a slider on top, not to mention the extra time needed to level the tripod head. And the Edelkrone tripod will level itself automatically. And again, this video is not sponsored, but they did give this to me and I promised I would include it in a future video, but I have genuinely been using it lately. Now I'll just hit record, take the pan out of the oven, then I'm gonna fake me putting the pan right back in where I had it framed up, and then close the oven and cut. And that's pretty much how I get pretty shots like this framed perfectly in my videos. And that shot's done. And then I can check it off of my shot list. There's a few moments in the video where I'm talking straight to the camera, and during those times, I'm not actually cooking anything. Sick, so I only really say 2 lines on camera, so I'm just gonna knock both of those out right now, and then I'll never have to talk on camera again. Sick! So I'll set up my camera and get everything ready for those talking segments. Another thing that's cool about this tripod is that I can adjust the height with an app. So I don't have to walk back and forth between my camera and prep table just to raise it up a couple of inches. I can literally just use my phone to frame myself up perfectly, and then I'm gonna knock out all of my on-camera talking parts from my shot list. And I just wanna do this now because later my kitchen's gonna be a mess and I'm gonna be all sweaty and gross from cooking in my apartment with no AC. You know, as a full-time cooking creator, it's important that the food that I share, then I got a shot of me placing the stock pot on top of the cooktop. Having a shot list is a game changer, because once you realize you only need a few seconds of each major step in the recipe, and you can actually start getting creative. You'll also save a ton of storage space on your memory cards and your phone. So now shooting becomes a lot faster because you're not having to film anything. And then now editing also becomes a lot faster because you're not sifting through a mountain of footage that you'd never use. A shot list literally makes every step of the cooking video process way more efficient. And if you want to buy a copy of my shot list template and learn my exact workflow, I'll have a link in the description of this video. You'll get my downloadable shot list template, and you'll also get a full example of a written recipe that I used, and the completed shot list that I made from that recipe. So you can literally reference them both to see how to do it. On top of that, it comes with 4 videos that help you understand and walk you through the full workflow. The first video is understanding how to shoot for the edit, which essentially teaches you how to stay efficient while filming, so you're only capturing what you actually need. The second video covers shot planning and scripting, where I break down how I plan videos in a way that helps you create more engagement, get more views, earn income, and even create brand sponsorship opportunities no matter the size of your following, I swear to God. The next video is 10 camera angles for cooking videos, where you'll learn exactly where to place your phone or camera in a kitchen to get a variety of shots. And the final video is a full step-by-step on exactly how I take my written recipe and use it to fill out the shot list template so that you can create your own shot list the same way. This is actually for my full Cooking Creators Club course, but I condensed it into its own mini course focused specifically on shot lists. So if you want to pick that up, I'll have it in the description. Tip number 3 is to film multiple videos in a single shoot day. In the past, I tried to batch film 3 or 4 recipes in one day, and it was not fun. Instead of trying to cook multiple recipes, I try and pull multiple videos from one recipe. For this shoot, I already have 2 videos built in one. The first one is the Heston brand deal video, and the other one is going to be the recipe video for my own page, because I'm already cooking a recipe anyways. But I could go further. I can also make a video on a tip, like how to dry brine your meat and why it makes it taste better. I could do a quick ingredient or kitchen tool spotlight, and that could also become an affiliate link. For this shoot, I basically triple dipped. I got the brand deal, I got my recipe content, and this YouTube behind the scenes video that you're watching right now. The key is to just take a moment before you film anything and just pre-plan what else you can capture while everything is already set up. Then you just gotta make sure you get those extra shots so that you have the footage later to make those other videos when it comes time to edit, which again is why it is so important to have a shot list. I have a whole other video on YouTube that breaks down how to get 8 reels or TikToks from a single recipe video, and I'll put a link to that in the description as well. One more thing that kind of ties into this is a lot of creators feel rushed or overwhelmed when having to film one recipe, let alone multiple recipes. On the shoot day, I pause multiple times to just take a little break and reset for each shot that I need to capture for each video. After I prepped all my ingredients, I cleaned up and reset for the cooking stuff. After I grabbed some cooking shots, I cleaned up and I reset my kitchen for the shots of everything going into the blender. Then I took a break and reset for the cooking of the rest of the recipe. And again, just having a shot list really helps you know what's happening next so that you can take the time to reset before each major step in the recipe. So I'm just taking a look at the shot list, making sure we got everything before I move on to this next step. Tip number 4 is to just take the time to learn your equipment and your kitchen. I see this all of the time. Someone starts with a phone, buys a camera, gets overwhelmed, then goes right back to their phone. But you're never gonna get comfortable using your camera or any gear if you don't use it. You just gotta think, you didn't know how to use a smartphone either, but you got good at using it because you used it literally every day. It's the same thing here. Once you learn your gear, you're gonna get faster, you're gonna get more confident. The setup stops feeling like a big task and filming feels more smoother. And for the longest time, I was mounting my camera vertically the old school way on my tripod head, but then I realized that this has a built-in vertical mode, so I can just switch it to vertical shooting way faster. And I learned it from using it, and now it saves me time because I don't have to rebalance my camera. This is honestly the first time that I'm using the Edelkrone slider for cooking content, but I've used it in the past for other projects, and now setup is just way easier. And I was also able to learn the app, which honestly makes it super simple to set up an A and a B point for my slider shots. Once you learn your equipment like that, filming on the day of gets just so much smoother and easier, and you're just way more confident moving around your kitchen. And also, learning your kitchen matters as much as learning your camera. The more you film in your kitchen with your gear, the faster you're gonna learn where the best shots are just from experience over time. Like in my kitchen or my entire apartment, I have these like wood tiled floor planks. And over time, I've learned that, hey, 4 planks back from my prep table, I like to have my camera at this specific height for this type of shot during like prepping. And over time, you're just gonna naturally learn where to place your camera for prepping, cooking, or on-camera talking stuff. One of the hardest things about shooting solo or shooting your own cooking videos is that it's impossible to add camera movement. There's no, like I don't have someone holding a gimbal to like get cool, you know, camera movement of me like while I'm cutting, prepping, or cooking. So that's why I've been using this slider, and I can move the slider to one side and then set it as my A point. Then I'll slide it to the other side and I can set that as my B point. Then I can just hit start in the app and it'll start looping between those 2 spots. Then all I have to do is pay attention to where the camera is in that movement and then time my actions with it. Oh, that looks so sick. For this brand deal, one of the deliverables was also like not just an Instagram reel, but I also had to make like Instagram stories where I would put like a link to the product so people can click it. And I wanted one of those Instagram stories to highlight the non-stick of the pan. This Edelkrone Head Plus has this point tracking mode where I can literally just point the camera at the middle of a pan and then just tap a button. Then I can just move the slider to the other side, reposition the camera to point at the middle of the pan again, and then tap that button again. And then that's gonna basically keep the pan perfectly centered in my shot while the camera is sliding from the left to the right and right to the left on the slider. Then all I did was just loop that movement while I was cooking a taco. I was able to capture this shot of this cheese melting in the pan, and the slider movement made the shot more engaging. And because the movement is consistent, when it came time to editing, I can match the shots together to make it feel like one seamless camera move while I was making the taco. For this birria lumpia recipe, I had to roll like 40 lumpia. So I used my point tracking again to keep the cutting board perfectly framed while I worked. Then this time I set the slider to move super slow from point A to point B over about 10 minutes while I rolled up some lumpia on camera. Now, I did this the lazy way by shooting a video and then I just sped it up when it came time to edit. But this slider can also do high quality time lapses where it actually takes individual photos and then you can edit them and sequence them together. Since this was just like an Instagram reel, I wanted to keep it super simple and I did a video because I was lazy and it has a quicker workflow. Tip number 5 is kind of an important one, and it's to take the time to get good hero and plating shots. And this is honestly the hardest part because these are usually captured towards the end of a recipe shoot when you're already exhausted and you're hungry and you've been running around all day, and that's why most people end up rushing them. But these last shots that I'm capturing, I usually use first in my final edited video. These are the hero shots. These are the visual hooks. When I'm creating my shot list, I'll usually pre-plan the first 3 or 4 opening shots of the video because those are the ones that really matter the most. And again, now that I have a slider, I wanted to incorporate some movement into these key shots. One of them was a taco flip shot in the pan that I showed you earlier. And another one's gonna be pulling a perfectly cooked lumpia out of the oil. And I'll usually do multiple takes of these same shots just to make sure that I'm confident that I got a good one. Another shot that I always love getting is sliding the final plated dish into the frame. And I'll do that one like a million times. And honestly, it's usually the last take or attempt that's the keeper or the one that I plan on using in the video. One of the most important shots for this recipe was dipping the lumpia in the birria consomme, and I wanted this one to look extra special. So I took a second to style the frame. I put a cutting board with ingredients in the background, and then I placed some cilantro in the foreground to add some depth. And that foreground element really makes the slider movement look even more dramatic. Once I set my A and B points, I can hit record and then I'm just gonna loop the slider. Then it was all about timing my dipping motion with the camera movement. And again, I usually just try and do this a few times to make sure that I nailed it. And one of the very last shots that I usually get is a bite shot on camera. And this is just a great way to show some face time with your audience, and honestly, it's a form of personal branding. People might not remember your name, but they'll recognize your face when it pops up on their feed, and they might stick around and watch your video. It also helps to protect your content, because if someone tries to steal your video, it's pretty obviously it's yours when it's your face. I'll usually save the bite shot for the very end of the recipe shoot. And before I film it, I'll just take a second to reset my space, reset my hair, reset my face, and I'll make sure everything looks clean for that final shot of the day. We did it. We did it, we did it. Now, if you're still struggling with what shots to get, I'll have a full video that breaks down 10 different camera angles for cooking videos. And if you wanna learn how to get 8 videos out of a single recipe shoot, I'll link you that one right here too. I will catch you in the next one. Aloha.